7th day of May. I trust you're doing fine. My name is Daisy Paul and our sign language interpreter is Naomi Matthew, and welcome you to this program. President William Ruto has announced a 4.5 billion Kenyan shillings engineering and science complex at the University of Nairobi, a flagship project jointly funded by the French Development Agency and backed by both the Kenyan and French governments. The facility, which will be housed on the university's Chiromo campus, is set to transform how Kenya trains its next generation of engineers and scientists, positioning the University of Nairobi as a top research and innovation hub across the continent, according to President William Ruto.
As we mark this special moment, it is my great privilege and pride and honor to represent the member states here in Nairobi. Excellencies, most of us have spent many hours here in these rooms at the United Nations Conference Center here, during productive and if sometimes very long discussions and negotiations. And over that period, it has become abundantly clear that the time for the modernizing and the expansion of this facility is and has been long overdue.
In just 2 years, this ground will host world leaders confronting the most pressing issues of our time. They will gather in a new amphitheater carved into African soil and surrounded by the Kenyan forest. It will anchor a modern conference complex with capacity for 9,000 people, welcoming delegates, civil society, and the public. And all of this comes at a time of transformation for our organization. As we mark the 80th anniversary of the United Nations, we are reimagining how we work, how we deliver, how we lead. And we do so recognizing the role of this great continent.
Today's groundbreaking reaffirms our collective faith in multilateralism and in the enduring mission of the United Nations. Kenya stands steadfast with the international community in advancing peace, sustainable development, human dignity, and shared prosperity for all nations and all peoples. Mr. Secretary General, again, it's my pleasure on behalf of the government and people of Kenya and on my own behalf to welcome you again to Nairobi and to thank you for your friendship and your leadership, without which we wouldn't be doing this groundbreaking ceremony. We want to thank you in a very special way for your leadership, for all the things that you have done to make sure that this facility here that is going to make Nairobi a hub of conferencing. I also want to tell you, Mr. Secretary General, in support and complement what the UN family is doing here, expanding conference facility.
The Supreme Council of Muslims, SUPKEM, Isiolo branch has called on the government to expedite plans aimed at employing Islamic madrasa teachers on permanent and pensionable terms in public primary and secondary schools across the country. The Muslim leaders said the lack of government-employed religious teachers has continued to place a heavy financial burden on parents who are currently forced to contribute money to facilitate the payment of madrasa teachers in many schools and learning centers.
The Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, SUPKEM Isiolo branch, has called the government to fast-track plans to employ Islamic madrasa teachers on permanent and pensionable terms in both public and secondary schools across the country. Leaders say the absence of government-employed religious teachers has placed a heavy financial burden on parents, many of whom are currently forced to contribute money to pay madrasa teachers in school and learning centers.
Kwa majina ninaitwa Mohamed Dokata, Secretary SUPKEM Isiolo. Sisi tunashukuru sana SUPKEM Head Office kwa kutukumbuka leo kutumia hizi vitabu ambaye imekuja kwa wakati muhimu inahitajika. Saizi tuko na challenges kidogo za hizi vitabu kupupujika.
Speaking in Isiolo town during the reception of hundreds of Quran copies with English translations donated to madrasa schools in the county, the leader said government employment of madrasa teachers would help strengthen religious education and improve learning outcomes among Muslim students.
Ni kusaidia hii asasi ya elimu ya Kiislamu. And already there is curriculum inaendelea ya ku-advocate for these madrasa teachers waweze kuwa incorporated in the government payslip. Kwa ufupi, employment for the madrasa teachers.
SUPKEM officials noted that donated learning materials will benefit madrasa learners and teachers in several areas, including Merti and Sericho, where many institutions have been struggling with inadequate resources. Religious teachers attending the event welcomed the support but also appealed for increased government and stakeholder investment in madrasa education, saying it remains critical in promoting moral values, discipline, and peaceful coexistence in the society.
Tunataka kuwasaidia to support one another because walimu wetu wako na changamoto sana at the ground, wako at the hand of the parents, wako kwa mkono wa wazazi na wazazi hawatoi zile hela za mwezi vile inavyotakikana. Kwa hivyo wameumia sana, ni watu ambao wako na watoto na ni wazazi na ni watu wako na mahitaji. Na kwa hivyo kama SUPKEM sisi hapa Isiolo, we need to support them vigorously.
Reporting for Mwangaza Prime News, Isiolo County, Yvonne Kamande.
The Director General of Sports Kenya, Timothy Kilimo, has indicated that all strategies are in place to successfully complete the construction of Karimani Stadium in Elgeyo Marakwet County. The stadium, which is expected to have a capacity of 10,000 people, had stalled for a long time, but construction has now been revived.
The Director General of Sports Kenya, Timothy Kilimo, has indicated that all strategies are in place to successfully complete construction of Kamarini Stadium in Elgeyo Marakwet County.
I told you is that this is a 10,000 seater, which meets CAF standards. So we will do terraces, which will be roofed. We will have a VIP section, which has dressing, changing rooms for home and away teams. We will do the pitch to the standard of CAF.
Speaking after visiting the site to inspect the progress, Kilimo stated that the ongoing work is on high quality and the government is committed to ensuring all preparation are finalized on schedule.
We'll also do tartan that will meet IAAF standards. So we returned the contractor 2 months ago, and we believe in the next 5-6 months we should be substantially done with the project. You are also aware that Mashujaa Day will be held in this county in the month of October. So we have a very short time between now and that time to ensure that we are ready with the stadium. So I want to assure the residents of Elgeyo Marakwet that this time round we are going to have a stadium for that matter.
On his part, the Member of Parliament for Keio North, Adam Kipsania, urged residents to refrain from politicizing the project. He also emphasized that the government has implemented robust measures to ensure the stadium reaches modern and international standard to benefit athletes and the community at large.
You know, people are now using stories of 20 years ago. We are in a different dispensation. And you can see that the scope of works that is being done here is actually in line with the timelines that have been put in place. However, the government of Kenya will not schedule such an important event like Mashujaa in just to make public relations. This time round, we are sure that it will be completed, and the challenge that this stadium faced was not really about the public relations part. It was victimized, deliberately removed by the former regime. But this regime is a regime that implements its policies and programs across Kenya, not only in this region. So, naysayers, please watch the space and welcome to Mashujaa on 20th October 2026.
Reporting for Mwangaza Prime News, Maureen Kimathi.
The National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, has raised concerns over increasing consumption of ultra-processed foods linked to diabetes, obesity and hypertension, urging the government to strengthen regulations on foods containing excessive salt, sugar and fats.
The National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, has urged the government to strengthen food regulations, raising concerns about the increasing consumption of highly processed foods linked to diabetes, obesity and high blood pressure.
Continued sensitizing the nation against ultra-processed foods. These are foods full of salt, sugar and fat. Such food are directly linked to non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension and obesity.
The council has also stressed the need for mandatory nutrition labeling to help consumers identify health risks.
NCCK is sensitizing the government, and they have continued developing a concept paper and a policy to officially engage government on 3 areas. Number 1, to put front of pack nutrition labeling. NCCK is pushing the government to ensure that every manufacturer, as soon as you are finished with your product, andika hapa bele, this product is full of sugar.
However, the NCCK has called for a review of the Basic Education Act to regulate food sold in schools, saying that children have little ability to make healthy food choices.
Review of the Basic Education Act, and particularly on what the children are being fed. We realize as a church that a child does not have a say, like now our school here. The child does not know or does not have a voice to say, I will not eat this. The child will oblige and eat whatever has been prepared. So NCCK is asking the government, ensure that you follow up on whatever the schools are offering.
Reporting for Mwangaza Primetime News, I am Leonida Maina.
That report by Leonida Maina allows us to take a short commercial breather, but don't go far, we're coming back with more.
Unatazama Mwangaza TV, tumaini lako.
Wiki jana ndani ya Life Garage.
Unatazama Mwangaza TV, tumaini lako.
Sauti kidogo. Cotton stakeholders have intensified the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya campaign in Mpeketoni as farmers called for the establishment of more textile industries in the region, saying locally grown cotton has become a key solution to the area's harsh weather conditions while creating employment opportunities for the youth.
Kuna mashini ziko hapa pale Mpeketoni ya kujini pamba. Vijana wengi wako hapo wanafanya hiyo kazi. Lakini kile hatujapata hapa ni kama hii ya kufanya viatu, hiyo hatuna. Hii ni ile tuko nayo ni mbili tu, ya kujini pamba na ya kujini mafuta ya kutoka begu ya pamba. Kwa hivyo itapatia vijana wetu, watoto wetu ajira hapa Mpeketoni. Ningeomba kama shirika zingine itusaidie kupata hata hiyo ya viatu tuweze kuweka hapa, sababu sisi mkulima wetu ni wapamba, ndio vitu yetu inabaki wapi? Hapa tuweze kusaidiana kama sisi.
Ningependa sana hivi viwanda vya nguo kama hizi za cotton ambazo tunavaa, ukiangalia asilimia kubwa watu wanapenda kuvaa nguo za cotton kwa sababu pia kwa hewa hii huku kwetu inakuwa friendly. So tungefurahia sana kama serikali kuu ingefanya huu kulima wa pamba tunaolima, kwa sababu tutalima kwa wingi, itengeneze viwanda hapa Kenya ambao pia zitasaidia vijana wengi watapata ajira. Vijana wengi wanalia kuwa hakuna ajira, lakini kiwanda kama hiyo ya kutengeneza nguo za cotton, vitu vya cotton vikifanyika hapa, vijana pia watapata ajira na itakuwa ni vizuri zaidi kulingana na badala ya kuleta vitu kutoka nje.
We've come to the end of this program. Many thanks for your time, and thank you to the team that is behind the scenes for making it a success. I am Daisy Paul, and Mwangaza is our sign language interpreter. On behalf of the entire team, we wish you a good night.
Unatazama Mwangaza